Kirby and the Rainbow Curse for the Wii U is the follow-up to 2005's Kirby Canvas Curse for the Nintendo DS. The game is as adorable as it is fun to play. Kirby's world has been robbed of all life and color due to the actions of a pair of malevolent hands. With the help of a paintbrush fairy, Kirby and Waddle Dee are brought back to life and fight off the evil hands, and proceed to pursue them through a variety of worlds. If you played Kirby Canvas Curse, you'll feel right at home, as this game plays exactly like that. Using the Wii U gamepad touchscreen and stylus exclusively, you'll draw paths for the aimless pink puffball to follow. The direction that you draw the lines in is important, as he'll write along exactly how you draw those lines. If you go right, he'll go right. If you go left, he'll go left. If you draw a loop, he'll go in a loop. But you need to be careful, as you have a limited amount of rainbow ink at your disposal, as indicated by the rainbow meter in the top left. It refills slowly in the air, and more quickly when on the ground. For the majority of the game, however, there were very few instances where I was in any danger of running out of ink. In the situations where you would be using lots of ink, there are floating ink jugs that instantly refill your ink. As you guide Kirby along, you'll ram into enemies and objects by using Kirby's dash attack, done by simply tapping Kirby. A second player can also join in as Waddle Dee by using a Wii remote. The second player has direct control over Waddle Dee's movement, and he comes equipped with a handy spear for stabbing stuff. You'll also collect stars, treasures, and food items. You'll mainly collect stars as they're littered across every inch of each level. Collecting 100 stars allows Kirby to use his Super Dash, which allows him to break metal crates as well as defeat large, heavily armored enemies. In boss fights, the Super Dash inflicts large amounts of damage, and in some cases is the only way to inflict any kind of damage on him. There are 7 worlds with 4 levels each. The early sections of the game are fairly standard and relatively easy to get through. In the latter half, things start getting tricky. Namely, the Sky World, where you have to constantly draw paths in the air for Kirby as he bounces between the clouds. As well as a Volcano World, where the ever-present hot lava is there to keep you on your toes. A recurring section of some levels that gave me some trouble were the gondola sections, where you have to redirect the gondola route to pick up items or to avoid hazards. The reason for this being that it's a bit difficult to get a precise idea of where you need to draw on the rope to make a new path. The line drawing mechanic can be a bit finicky at times, especially when considering the floaty physics of Kirby when he is airborne and bounces off objects. As such, there will be times where I'll fail a bonus room or fall to my death because of the misdirection. The last levels in the game feature some of the best game design mechanics, one of which involves guiding 2 separate Kirbys through different sections of a level at the same time, where one will need to unlock doors to open paths for the other one to get through. The level then culminates with the Kirbys emerging in the same room, where you can dash them into each other to destroy enemies and blocks, which is super fun. While Kirby doesn't have his trademark copy ability in this game, he does transform into 3 unique vehicles. A tank that crawls along the ground and blasts enemies, a rocket that is constantly flying and requires you to draw lines to redirect its trajectory, and my personal favorite, the submarine that constantly fires torpedoes that you can redirect with your lines to shoot monkeys. These vehicles are only used in a few sections of the game, but they add enough variety without overstaying their welcome. One complaint I do have is how the bosses are recycled. Of the game's 5 bosses, 3 of which are reused in later worlds as stronger versions. Wispy Woods is present as expected, but it'd be nice to see Dynablade or Kracko or Marks as other potential bosses. Even King DDD and Meta Knight aren't in it, save for cameos via collectibles and amiibo upgrades. Speaking of which, the game does support the 3 Kirby series amiibos. Kirby gives you access to the Super Dash immediately, without having to collect 100 stars. DDD gives you 2 extra units of health, and Meta Knight gives you a stronger version of your dash attack. The catch is, you can only use each amiibo once a day. Upon dying or completing a level, you lose that amiibo's power. In reality, it seems like the amiibo integration was kind of an afterthought with this game. That aside, the one thing that I failed to mention up until now is the delightful claymation art style. The world is completely made of clay. Even the menus and loading screens are clay. I thought it'd be difficult to out-cute the adorable Kirby's Epic Yarn style, but Rainbow Curse is definitely on par in that regard. Certain elements of the environment will smush as you roll and bump into them, which is a nice touch. Overall, I really liked the claymation aesthetic. The soundtrack is also great, as it features a ton of original tracks and remixed versions of classic Kirby themes. And despite all the trouble the Skyworld gave me, I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't mention how much I like that music. The game isn't too difficult and can be completed in a few hours. If you're trying to collect all the treasures and get gold medals, you can expect a decent chunk of extra playtime with that. Fortunately, the game is priced for about $35 here in Japan, but I'd say it's totally worth it. I had a lot of fun with Kirby in the Rainbow Curse. We haven't seen this type of gameplay in over 10 years, and so it's a welcome return. I wouldn't say it's a must-own, but it's worth taking a break from Smash Bros. To check out.